Hello everyone, this is Khushbu Bhati, your social science teacher. Students, today we are going to start with our history portion. Chapter number 1, What, How and When. Before starting with this chapter, we are going to know about what is history. So students, history is the study of the past. As we know that in history there are many events which have been occurred in the ancient time. To know about the people, how they have lived in that ancient time, what they have ate, what was their dressing sense, that all we are studying in the history. Now, why should we study history? As we want to know about the past time, about the ancient time, we are studying this history, and we are also want to know about our country's heritage. So that's why we are studying history. Students, how do we study history? The sources, the scholars who have studied this history are known as historians. This historians has divided the history into two parts, that is prehistory and the history. In prehistory, there were no written records were there, as people do not know how to read and write. And in history time period, the people know how to read and write, and all written records are available in this historic period. Now, there are some sources of history. These sources of history are divided into two categories, that is archaeological sources and literary sources. Archaeological sources are the sources which are there in the prehistoric time, and the literary sources are the sources which are there in the history time. As we all know that in the prehistory time people do not know how to read and write, so these archaeological sources were the main things which tells us, that give us information about the early time. And in historic period we are having this literary sources. These literary sources are related with the written records. Now, archaeological sources of Indian history. Now, the solid remains, we are studying about the solid remains of the past which were left by the people of the past. There comes under the archaeological sources. There are many examples of the archaeological sources such as monuments, inscriptions, coins, caves, temples, pottery, weapons and tools. Monuments are the old buildings. For example, we can see many forts are there, many temples are there of the ancient time. They all comes under the monuments of the archaeological sources. For example, Taj Mahal in Agra we are having, Red Fort in Delhi, these all are the historical monuments. Now, we will talk about the objects. There are various objects which are related to the early historic periods. They are tools, pottery, ornaments and many other things are also there, jewelry, paintings, sculptures, these all are related with the archaeological sources. They provide us many information, valuable information, and they are helping the historians to know, to reconstruct the past. Now, inscriptions and edicts. Inscriptions refer to the writing and text carved on the solid objects. In the ancient times, the rulers or the kings, they have inscribed their things on the solid objects. We can see copper plate, stones, forts and walls. These inscriptions are also there in the present time. Let's talk about the coins. These coins are valuable sources of information, because if we are seeing this coin, we can see the picture of the people, about the sun, in which it was established, by whom it was established. So these are also the valuable source of information to us. The study of coins is called numismatics. If you are studying about the coins or banknotes, this all is known as numismatics. These coins are available in various forms. Gold, silver, copper and lead coins have been found. Edicts are also coming in this archaeological sources. So what are these edicts? Edicts are the royal orders or the commands. These are the orders and commands which were being issued by the kings at that time. These are found on many pillars. For example, we can see on the Ashokan pillar at the time of the Mauryan period. Let's talk about the burial sites. Burial sites are the sites where the things are being buried deep down under the earth. This burial sites includes a lot of information of the dead remains. They are the rich source of information for the historians. They are useful for the study of the history. So, these burial sites are also coming under the archaeological sources. So, students, that's all for your today's class. In this chapter, we have studied about what is history. History is the study of the past. And why do we study history? We study history because we want to know about our culture, about our country's heritage, from where the people had came, what tradition they were following, what all the customs were there in the ancient time. Okay, after that we have studied about the prehistoric and historic period, and after that we have studied the archaeological sources and the literary sources. That's all we have discussed about the archaeological sources, that monuments, inscriptions, paintings, coins, this all comes under archaeological sources, and our last topic was burial sites. Okay, so that's all for your today's class. Thank you and have a nice day.